you've got the list of our NostraDumbAss predictions we made back at the end of March.
Yes.
I think we should go through those and just laugh and talk about what went right, what went wrong. I think I've got them all. I forget how I listed them,
You
but
did them by region. So, like, we have AL and NL East, and then
okay.
Central, and then West. So,
Well, I think we might as well go through the same way we did the original predictions. Start with the East.
yes. And you and I were both hot on the Red Sox to win that division.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah, we were close. They made the playoffs, but
Yes.
they did not win the division because the fucking Blue Jays, who I pick almost every year and chose this year that I was not going to be fooled, and they end up winning the division, of course. Same thing
Uh,
happened with Seattle, which we'll get to, but
yeah, I think that's hilarious that the Blue Jays won. We both picked the Blue Jays last year to win it,
did
and
we? Okay.
we're wrong. Yeah. So yeah, good for us.
Mm.
Um, moving now, mine's the funniest one on this one. I don't know why I had any faith in this, but moving over to the NL East, you picked the Philadelphia Phillies. I believe that is
Ding, 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 ding,
accurate.
ding, ding, ding.
I decided there is no way, with all the talent on this team, that the New York Mets would not win that
Oh, the
division.
foolishness of youth.
but not only did they not win the division, they did not even make the fucking playoffs. In equally, probably right up there with what we were talking about. At least both the Cubs and the Tigers make the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Mets epically, after like having a pretty hot start to the season, just collapsed and failed to make the playoffs.
I'm being a whiny Tigers fan over here. Well, meanwhile, they're going to be playing here in an hour and a half in the playoffs. I can't imagine being a Mets fan. $340 million payroll. Juan Soto. And you don't make the fucking playoffs. I don't know.
Unbelievable.
What do you do there? Like, I haven't paid too close of attention. Like, what as a fan base? Oh, spend more money here. Like, what you've got, like, Milwaukee's old GM there, who's obviously been able to build something really well. Where do you go from here if you're a Mets fan? Other than you're just always going to be fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta feel like there's like a gray cloud over your team in New York. You're the team with the gray cloud.
Yeah, unreal.
All right, let's move over to the Central, where the team we talked about a lot so far today in the AL Central. We were red hot on the Tigers, and we were looking like fucking geniuses all the way through August.
Sure were. They were the first team to 30 wins, 40 wins, 50 wins, 60 wins, 70 wins. They were not the first to 80. And that's where it all fell apart. So they did still have a chance to win the fucking division on the last day of the season. They did not do that. But of course, the Guardians are the team that always sticks in our craw. As you are a AL Central White Sox fan, you've experienced it just as all these Tigers fans have. I just cannot explain the Guardians. They just have a little more clutch hitting. They have a little more pitching, and I feel like they've gotten every blue pit. Every bounce has gone their way. That's just how it happens every fucking year. They're a good team. They just are.
They are a good team.
They only have two hitters though. They have Jose Ramirez and Steven Kwan, who are both. I mean, they're Kwan. Ramirez is a Hall of Famer. Kwan would be I feel like Kwan would be a Hall of Famer if he played all his games against the Tigers. He's the best player in the world when he plays the Tigers. But other than that, it's just amazing. We always discount them, similar to the Brewers, which we'll get to also. But
I don't discount the Brewers.
You didn't discount the Brewers, but I feel like they're the same organization. They do things just work out for them. They're smart. There's not a ton of talent. They lose talent and they get better. So, what did we have for? Yeah, well, might as well talk about the NL Central.
Well, you wrongly picked the Cubs, and I correctly picked the fucking Milwaukee Brewers, the Brew Crew.
Yeah, 92 wins was not nearly enough for the Cubs to win the division.
Nope, losers.
Yeah, that's the one I fell for again. You did not.
Nope.
You got it. Kudos to you. Ding, 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 ding. Although the Brewers, I mean, we'll get to our playoff predictions when we're through this. I'm not real confident about their chances. I mean, they always flame out in the playoffs. They always make the playoffs, but they always flame out. And I don't think that's
That's
going to be
true.
much different this year. If they spent so much time, destroying everyone in the middle of the season, that's not kind of tailed off a bit here at the end. So they may have come back to earth.
Our
Should we
AL
move to the
West.
West?
Yes, where you went with the formerly managed Bruce Bochy Rangers. He's also not returning as a manager.
That sounded like that was shocking to me too. They just won the World Series 2 years ago. He's 70 now, so he's got
Yeah,
to be the oldest manager in baseball. So it sounded like it was a mutual decision. Maybe he's just stepping away, and I don't know. I mean, he got his world championships with two different teams and two different leagues, so I think his legacy is cemented. I was surprised by. I guess I'm more surprised by Bob Melvin only after 2 years, but yeah. So I
you
forget
had the
what.
Rangers, and I had, of course, the division champ Seattle
That's
Mariners.
the other team I always get fooled by. Like I pick them every year, and at least to make a wild card, but they always flame out. I was blaming they have the longest travel by mileage if you add up all their flights because Seattle's so fucking far away. So I thought maybe they like fade every year just because there's so much travel. They did not. I did not anticipate Cal Raleigh hitting
That's
60
right.
home runs. He's my backup catcher in our fantasy league, which we should do a fantasy minute here.
Now we're good.
I won my, I don't know, seventh or eighth championship this
Yeah.
past
Most
season.
most people are thinking of quitting now because all this guy does is win. So
All I do is win, no matter what. Yeah, I've destroyed my own league by being too good at it. um, but yeah, I mean, did you see Cal? I liked Cal
Oh
Raleigh
no,
last
no,
year. I
no one
thought
saw
he'd
that.
be a good backup catcher for me. Maybe 20 home runs. I was thinking, but 60 home runs. There's got to be an investigation into what's going on there. That's just nuts. And he kept it up he was consistent the whole season. It wasn't like he had a really good month here or there. It was just all year long. He just kept crushing it.
Is he a torpedo bat guy?
Maybe. That's so funny because I mean that was like a week after we did our NostraDumbAss predictions. We had to do a whole thing about torpedo bats, and then I don't know if anyone talked about a torpedo bat after that first weekend. After the
No, that was about it.
Yankees hit like 20 home runs in the first series, and then everyone's had. We all thought they were cheating. It's like, well, no, everyone's had torpedo bats. Weird. That seems like a long fucking time ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. As baseball is a long season.
NL West, didn't we both? I'm
Yeah, we
assuming we
both
both
went with
picked
the
the Dodgers.
Dodgers. Yeah, look at us. How
Yeah.
smart we are.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. Nice work.
The layup one we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that one right.
I mean, your Giants flirted with it for a while. It was not as slam dunk season by any means for the Dodgers as they dealt with a lot of pitching injuries and weirdness. Of course, they always end up where we think, but your Giants were flirting with it. The Padres were an issue and did make the playoffs, facing the Cubs later on this afternoon. The Diamondbacks were really disappointing. I thought
Yeah, for
they almost made
sure.
a charge at the end, but they did not. I think you and I both had them in the wild card, which we can get to. But yeah, that's all I've got for the West.
All right, so let's get into the wild card. So we both correctly picked the Yankees.
That's right.
I
Ding, 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 ding.
Yes, you picked the Guardians, so you were right there.
Yeah, that game 162 fucked my whole predictions up. God damn it.
I did have another AL Central wildcard team. I thought the Royals, who did look good for portions of time in the season. I thought Bobby Witt Jr. and a healthy year out of Old Man Johnson behind the plate.
Salvador Perez.
Yeah, Perez.
AKA Old Man Johnson.
Yeah.
I like that.
Old Man Perez. That's what my son calls me, Old Man Johnson.
Okay. I can see why.
Yes. But they had an unceremonious year.
They actually fucked up the whole Tigers collapse narrative because they were in second place. Guardians were 15 and a half games behind the Tigers, but they were in third place on July 9th it was. So it was it screws up the numbers when you talk about the collapse because they were actually the Royals were actually trailing in second place at the time, so it's confusing. But yeah, they really faded down the stretch, and while the Guardians just couldn't lose for a while, so
Yeah, I mean
explains that.
the White Sox actually won a game in Kansas City finally this year. So it's been like
Wow,
2 years. So there you go.
Jesus.
Then we both incorrectly picked. You had the Athletics. You were reaching there. I mean, they
Well,
definitely played well this year.
they played. They were only five. I just saw it this morning. Looking at the a hole standings, they were only 5 games behind the Giants when it all ended
Yeah,
up. Giants at 81 and 81, 76 wins for the Athletics. I was making that outrageous pick mainly to make sure that you and I didn't have the same picks at the time. Because we've been famous for doing that over the last couple of years and getting annoyed with each other for making the same fucking picks. So
yes,
I wanted to throw a wild card in there. I thought maybe that ridiculous stadium they were playing in, the AAA Sacramento
yeah,
stadium, might be an outrageous home field advantage, forcing other teams, visiting teams, to play in a subpar locker room or get ready in a subpar locker room. It did play to be a really bizarre stadium, really homer friendly.
yes.
I think that hurt the A's pitching staff as much as the visitors, though. So
Yeah. I think visitors enjoyed playing against Tampa Bay and against the Athletics this year.
yeah, at
Uh,
least the Rays, it was an act of God that forced them into a spring training facility. The
True.
Yankees AAA or whatever it is there in Tampa, where
Yeah.
the A's simply chose to fuck up their situation in Oakland, try to move to Vegas. Still not sure if that's happening, but we'll see.
We're
Oh, see, while we're speaking of the A's, they all year they've only been called the Athletics. They've had no city affiliation with,
yes.
however they're mentioned on official MLB channels. But somehow this year they've announced they are going to change out their gold jerseys, which used to have just the A's logo on the chest. They're going to say Sacramento in their familiar script lettering. So
Interesting.
they've reversed that. So I can't. I guess I can continue to call them the Los Oaklamento A's, but they're going to be embracing Sacramento. Maybe that's a sign that they might be staying in Sacramento for
Oh
longer than they thought.
God.
I don't know.
I thought you were gonna tell me they've already jumped into gold, black and silver jerseys for LA
Raiders.
Raiders for LA.
That was our
For Las
impromptu aesthetics
Vegas.
segment right there.
Las Vegas Athletics. I incorrectly picked for my final wildcard team, the Baltimore Orioles, who I thought was more of an anomaly last year, but now I'm starting to see comparisons to all the talent the White Sox had a few years ago. Next year is the tail of the tape, I think, for that team.
There's so much talent there, but they didn't push it over the top. Like we were talking about the trade deadline last season. The Orioles were rumored to be going after Tarek Skubal. They needed a front end of the rotation pitcher. It was the last piece of the puzzle. They didn't do it, and now we see where they're at.
Yeah, and it's the same thing the White Sox did. They didn't do it. They thought they had enough in-house talent that they didn't need, and they were too afraid to trade it away. And that is exactly what the Orioles are doing. So
we may have seen the exact same scenario happen in Detroit this season, as many are very frustrated with Scott Harris for not going over the top at the trade deadline, and that may have led to their premature demise. But we'll get to that.
All right, let's move over to the NL, where we both incorrectly picked Arizona as a wild card team.
That's right. Yeah, they're very disappointing.
We both you incorrectly picked the Giants. I didn't even have the Homer Boy didn't even have the Giants in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I went with the Braves, unfortunately.
They got crushed by injuries once again.
Yes. And then finally, Washington for you, which is hilarious.
That was my crazy pick. That was off. That's the worst pick, definitely by far, of NostraDumbAss 25.
And I had the Phillies, who of course won the division,
Yeah.
but they are in the playoffs.
So that's how we ended up with, each of us had 7 out of 12 playoff teams picked correctly.
Yeah.
Very different ways, but still end up in the same spot.
Word Hole Media.